And then I asked her, can I get a bleach and tone? And she said, bleach and tone? Question mark. Yeah, like a bleach and tone. Bleach and tone. A bleach and tone.
And welcome back to another episode of Crypts and Corks. I'm your host DJ, and I directed the moon landing video in the back deserts of Nevada, along with my co-host.
Paul, that last salt and vinegar chip that gave you tonsillitis. As usual.
That's why I don't eat salt and vinegar chips.
Oh my god, they're my absolute favorite.
And you know what? I smelt that on you. I've always thought it was wrong. You
Girl.
Walk into a room and I go, who washed their coochie out with vinegar today?
And it's just me.
And it's just Paul and his rancid salt and vinegar chip breath.
Girl, but you know I love anything sour, and that's why we're friends.
And you know what it says? You know, they always say, when you walk into a room, you want to turn heads. Now, most people want people to turn their heads and look at you and not look away in disgust. But you're turning heads out here. You are turning heads.
Just in the wrong direction.
Yes. You know what? That might be your goal. I don't know your life.
No, you don't know my life. And maybe I do want them to look away, okay? Yeah. They can't handle all this grace, all this beauty. They can't handle the bop. And you know what? They especially can't handle this bop because today is our annual Valentine's Day episode. I don't know why I said annual, because this episode really doesn't have much to do with Valentine's Day.
No, and you know what? We've never really marked Valentine's Day before.
But yeah, I know. But this year we do have a reason to mark Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Because we're both in very loving, committed relationship with two very attractive men who care a lot about us.
And if you believe that, you're an idiot.
Right, if you believe that shit, girl, just to believe, we are still single for, what is this, the fourth Valentine's in a row we're filming this shit?
Something like that.
But, oh my gosh, my necklace just keeps messing
up.
So, it didn't break. It's just one of those long necklaces you have to, like, wrap around your neck.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be a body chain, but I'm wearing it as a necklace.
Is there a clasp?
No. And you know what? This is fashion. What have you done for fashion today?
I'm out here.
I do like that brooch.
In my Ann Taylor boucle. I'm wearing silk. I've got the brooch. I've got my pearls. My makeup is done. My hair is done. Mm-hmm. I woke up and I got ready today. Mm-hmm. I said the only bitch who's going to see me is Paul, but I don't care. I'm going to put an effort in, because if I can inspire him to change his ways, to not just roll out of bed and put the first thing he sees on to wear on the podcast. If I can encourage him to wash his face or shower for that matter, then I will have done a good deed for today. And that is why I do this for fashion.
And you know what? I'll let you have that one because that brooch is pretty sickening, bitch. That brooch is so pretty.
It's so much more than cerulean. It's so much more than cerulean.
I do like this outfit.
Thank you.
So we'll leave that to him. But yes, we are single for another Valentine's Day, so our DMs are still open. If any of you are desperate like we are, the DMs are open. If you like weird things, if you don't mind being talked at for hours about true crime, the paranormal, all sorts of things, hit our DMs.
There's one specific man out there where I know you're just dying to slide into my DMs. This is your permission. Do it.
Aw, it's so nice you're going to get back in contact with your dad.
Shut the fuck up. And tell me your blessings and curses, bitch.
So my blessing and curse kind of go hand in hand. They're both food related, okay? So for my blessing, I had one of the best quarter pounders I've had in a long time.
Oh.
And the nuggets, they really just hit really hard this week, okay? Sometimes McDonald's just does everything perfectly. And this week I got to experience one of those times. So thank you to the McDonald's here in Pittsburgh for getting my life together on a Thursday.
The single McDonald's in Pittsburgh.
Yes, and for those who are curious, the perfect McDonald's order is a medium quarter pounder meal with a 10-piece nugget and ranch. You're welcome. And you do have to dip the quarter pounder in the ranch. Now, for my curse is also food related. I decided to try, as you know, hamburger helper in the crock pot, and it did not go as planned, okay?
First of all, this wasn't a package of hamburger helper.
No, it was not.
This was, Paul went to the store and had a recipe for all the spices he needed to get.
I did do that. And I didn't use all of the spices. I will grant that why it probably didn't turn out well. And I will say the recipe was kind of weird because it called for chicken, like cream of chicken soup. And I did put that in and it was condensed. Now the can for the condensed did say to put water in there. I didn't do that. And I did put a whole thing of noodles in there. I think it was too much noodles and too much onion that I put in there. And too much of a lot of things because there wasn't enough liquid. I did try pouring some chicken broth on it throughout the time it was cooking, but that did not help either. And it just ended up being super messy. And afterwards, I figured it out. I added some tomato sauce and some knockoff Velveeta cheese from the Aldi, because apparently Aldi doesn't have Velveeta. And afterwards, I did figure it out, but it was actually pretty gross, and I'm still recovering from that. I did get sick last night. I threw up a little bit. Not sure if it was that or the old, there was a pumpkin ale that I brought that was on sale, and it might have been expired. I'm not sure. Maybe that made me throw up. Not sure. Maybe that's why it was on sale. Who knows? But either way, my curse this week has been many culinary misadventures.
You were really out here like Kathy Mitchell making a dump truck dinner. Just pouring everything into one crock pot with a hope and a prayer and hoping for the best. That's right, just one pot! Just one pot! Just dump it in!
Okay. You know, you're very right about that. And I was channeling my ancestors because crock pot dinners are in my blood. If you're from Cumberland, Maryland.
Okay, Paul. When you say your ancestors, technically your mother is an ancestor, but I don't think you can say the meal of my ancestors and just mean your mom cooked in a crock pot.
My grandmother loved the crock pot too. The crock pot is a family affair, as many of my country folk might note. That the crock pot is a family affair. It runs deep within the country roots, okay? And I was just honoring my ancestors in that way this week.
Okay.
We're going to take off the necklace. It's just, it's not happening, guys.
It's not a necklace. It's a body chain that you wrapped around your neck.
It is a body chain, but we're just going to take it off. And that's going to be fine. You guys still get the full blazer, the flower, everything. But tell us about your blessing and curse, DJ.
My blessing is that we're getting a second The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Caleb Heron's going to be in it. I'm so excited for that.
Yes. The trailer came out this week. It is the only thing that has gotten me through. Is that, and I mean, already it just looks to be so amazing. I mean, that part where Anne Hathaway goes, "It's me, Andy, Andrea," and Miranda Priestley goes, "Do you know this person? Do I know this person?"
Oh my gosh.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
I'm very excited. I'm right there with you.
Thank you. My curse is that despite the amount of poison that I did sneak into Paul's food, he somehow made it through.
You're the reason I threw up last night, and not for the usual reasons.
You weren't supposed to throw up. You're supposed to just go to sleep and... I'm joking. For legal reasons, that is a joke.
Oh my gosh.
No. Just, no curses.
It was a good week for you.
It was a fine week. Nothing... Other than the snow, it snowed some more, and I'm sick and tired of the snow. That's my curse. There we go.
Very tired of the snow. But to get us through the tiredness of the snow, why don't we drink a little bit, DJ?
Please.
So this week today on Crypts... I said this week today. This week on Crypts and Corks, we have Poggio anima. It's a Bilal Toscana Sangiovese.
Would you like me to read that in Italian now?
No, we can make it a drinking game. Every time I mispronounce an Italian word, go ahead and take a drink. Now, Momento Dear Sempir. The hillsides of Tuscany are the home to Sangiovese. In the heart of Tuscany, there is the picturesque town of Siena, from which this wine hails. Dark ruby in color, notes of rosemary, bromley red cherries, and clove combine with supple tannins. So let's get up in the Piggio Arminio and maybe anemia, kind of like, what's that disease? Anemia. Like if you have anemia, it's kind of, maybe this will give us anemia.
Is it a red?
Yes.
Reds actually help with anemia.
Period. Maybe we won't get anemia. Let's do a little crack. And let's do a little ASMR pour. I'll let you pour your own. I don't know how much you would like to drink today. I don't like to assume for others.
Thank you. Everything's gonna be okay. Just relax and listen to the sound of the wine pouring. And as it pours, imagine it's your stress eking out of your body. And your stress has been poured out of your body. Jesus.
I was gonna say something, but it's fine. We'll get them next time. Cheers.
Cheers. I can smell that brambly cherry.
Okay. She's not bad.
No.
Nope, she's not bad.
I can taste the brambly cherry too.
I'm gonna give this 3.5 grapes. It's good. It's not my favorite. Definitely would drink again. Yeah, 3.5 grapes. It's a pretty good wine. If you have just a casual Friday evening, go ahead and grab one. How about you, DJ?
I'm gonna give it 4.
4 grapes. Ooh, girl. You're getting into it. So you really liked it.
I didn't give it 5.
T. Any thoughts on it? Any final thoughts before we
You
get
can
in?
really taste that cherry.
T, yeah.
It will pop yours.
And you can take that to the bank. So if you want your cherry popped on Valentine's Day, this is the perfect wine to do it. Now, do you have any final thoughts before we get into today's tale?
None that are safe for this space.
Period. There's not many things that are safe for the space I'm about to create.
Oh. All right.
All right, DJ, let me tell you a story.
Let's get it fucking over with.
Guten Morgen, Hans.
Oh, Jesus.
Guten Morgen, Spätzle. Have you read the newspaper today? No, Hans, I haven't. Is there anything interesting going on today in the land of beer and pretzels? No, not really. It's a wonderful 20 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, like those Americans. I decline a Nackerspiel. And Oktoberfest is right around the corner. Oh, and a man killed and ate another man. What? That's right, Hans, the cannibal. Have you not heard? Armin Meiwes, sick fella, killed and ate another man. What? Yes, and he ate the man for months after storing him in the freezer. What? Oh, Spitzel, if you say what again, you're gonna end up just like that man in the freezer, and I'll feed you to the hooner. That's right. We are embarking on our bloodiest, goriest, most controversial topic yet, as we discussed Armin Meiwes, the Cannibal of Rotenburg.
I'm so sorry. When you asked me for advice on how to do a German accent, and I said, just talk really loud like you're shouting and like you're about to spit, I'm so sorry for the noise complaint fine that you're gonna have to pay after that.
Yeah. I'm really doing my best with these German accents, y'all. And which is crazy because I'm very German myself, as you can tell. Like, I'm very German, so you'd think it would come naturally to me.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes naturally to me about the German people is the rage, the anger.
Don't forget the guzzling of beer.
Oh, yes, I do love a good beer. I will guzzle a beer along with a few cocks from McDonald's, that is, the chicken nuggets, you know.
Oh my God.
Those cocks, yeah. Yep, so any thoughts right off the bat about this intro?
You know, like you could have been speaking German. You could have been speaking Swedish. You could have been speaking Greek for all I know. I didn't understand a word of it.
So you're not curious what the Hühner are?
What's a Hühner?
It's the German word for chickens. He was starting to feed them to the chickens.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the first animal that came to my mind.
Oh.
You're welcome.
See, I wouldn't think of feeding somebody to my chickens. My pigs, yes, because pigs will eat bone and all. Dogs too, because dogs will, if they're hungry enough, will eat anything. Chickens, that's a new one. I'm not at all concerned for your mental well-being after that.
No, I chose chickens because it sounded the coolest in German. But why don't we get into this, okay?
Okay.
So, Armin Meiwes, and I might say Muse, like, throughout this by accident, because for about a year or two, I was calling him Armin Muse instead of Armin Meiwes, which is how you actually pronounce it. So excuse that if either of us accidentally say Armin Muse instead of Meiwes.
And when he says he's been saying for a couple years, Paul has brought up this story a number of times.
I'm actually very excited for this story. It's one of my very favorite true crime stories, and I'm super excited to be telling this story.
This story has ruined 9 out of 10 first dates for Paul.
True story. It did ruin one first date because I accidentally brought it up, and then he kept asking me more, and of course I kept going and going and go. Yeah, like I said, if you want someone to talk to you about true crime, not talk to you, but at you, I'm your guy. Hit my DMs.
Paul is a true top. He does not listen. He just talks at you.
Exactly. Now let me talk at you a little bit.
Okay.
So Armin Meiwes, aka the Cannibal of Rotenburg, aka Metzgermeister, which means the master butcher in German.
Metzgermeister.
Yes. Was a man who lived in Rothenburg, Germany, and killed and ate another German man named Bernd Brandis.
Bernd.
These two have disturbing yet fascinating stories that end with the most disturbing, bloody, and horrific tale we have ever told on this podcast. But first, I want to talk about the fucked up upbringings and adult lives that these two deviants led to find each other. Now, let me shout out my sources. Cannibal by Louise Jones. It's a lady. Louise Jones. I've been reading this pretty deep in the book. I'll put it on
Thanks,
her Instagram
Louise.
dump. And then, of course, last podcast on the left. And there was an interview on YouTube with Meiwes himself. He's actually, I won't spoil it, but there's a couple interviews with him on YouTube, and he doesn't shy away from the camera. So I did get some of this information straight from the horse's mouth.
You know, if you wouldn't shy away from the camera, you'd make a lot more money too. Just not selling feet pics. Put those dogs away.
Girl, the world wants the feet, DJ.
No.
They want to see it, girl. They need the feet. I'm wearing
Put those
socks
dogs away.
today, though.
Put those dogs away.
Now, we do have to do some quick trigger warnings. Trigger warnings: murder, suicide, idealization. Sorry.
Suicidal ideation.
Ideation. Blood, gore, cannibalism, and worst of all, terrible German accents.
You know, I think we should start doing trigger warnings, but have a list of them and just say which ones we're not covering. Like, these are the triggers that will not, like, these are not triggers that we're going to be discussing.
Because the list would be shorter.
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be, okay. This episode isn't going to be as bad as next week's episode is going to be. So this is like a warm-up for you guys. You know how you have to warm up that little putty cat before you play with it? You know? This is kind of that type of warm-up.
Do you know what's horrifying? I was going to make a similar joke, but at no point was I going to do the Tweety Bird Putty Cat like that. That's demonic.
You're welcome.
That is dork-sided. Dork-sided up in here.
We are a dark comedy podcast, so let's dive into the background of Armin Meiwes, the cannibal himself. Armin Meiwes was born to 40-year-old Voltrelt Muse in 1961. Voltrelt, a very German name, and I do have to say it like that.
Is there an English equivalent to that?
I don't think there is an English, maybe Wanda. That's like the closest English equivalent I can come up with.
No, that makes perfect sense.
But he was born to Voltrelt in 1961, and he would end up being Voltrelt's final child. She had 3 sons, 2 of which were Armin's half-brothers. In the early years, they lived in Essenhausterhausen in Western Germany. Sorry for butchering that town name. It's a long one. It's pretty hard to say. Now, all was normal until Armin was 8 years old. See, his half-brother Ingbert would leave to live with his biological father in Berlin, followed by Armin's biological father, Dieter, who couldn't stand Armin's mother anymore, and they separated, and he left.
I'm just shocked that Voltrout got men to impregnate her 3 times.
Yeah, we're gonna come to know Voltrout is a pretty insufferable person. Now, see, Voltrout and Dieter constantly fought, and Voltrout constantly accused him of having affairs. And finally, his other half-brother Wolfgang would leave as well to live with his biological father in Berlin. I tried to fact-check if they had the same father in Berlin, but I couldn't find that. So if you're able to find that information, if his 2 half-brothers had the same biological father, let us know down below. I tried to find that information, but I couldn't find it in my travels. Now, this left Armin alone with his domineering mother. See, Voltrout came from a well-off family and expected to do very well for herself in life. So, after the second failed marriage and not having a job, she felt defeated and angry. Go ahead.
She's probably just like, this is so terrible. I feel almost as bad as when Adolf Hitler killed himself and the Nazis lost the war. We have so much money wrapped up in the Nazi stock market. Now where did all the marks go? Who is going to make Germany great again?
Well, apparently, I don't know who's going to make Germany great again, but, I mean, they're doing better than we are.
2 world wars, 2 divorces. I'm just like Germany.
Poor Voltrout! Now, I will say right off the bat here, I do feel like Voltrout talks about herself in third person. She's giving third person talk her, and you'll see, I have many impressions of Voltrout throughout the episode.
Poor
that are in
Voltrout. What are we going to do? She also seems like a mouth breather.
She does! Yes. So, she was very strict and hard on Armin, taking out all her bitterness and rage on him. He was the only thing she had left, right?
It's just all your fault that your father left me.
Very that. Voltrout would make Armin do chores all the time, and if Armin made the littlest mistake, Voltrout was quick to reprimand him.
Armin, how dare you use the pine-scented pines? You know I prefer the lemon.
Armin! Voltrout's trough needs cleaned! You insolent child! Not that trough! We need to clean the Wednesday trough, not Voltrout's Thursday trough! You insolent boy! I feel like it would be a lot more angry, so I had to.
I'm trying not to add to your noise complaint.
You have to. But that's very much how she would speak to him. She was very strict and firm and tough.
Oh, I think she had a riding crop in her hand and she was just ready to beat him with it.
Oh yeah. She kept that backhand ready, girl. Now, Armin and his mother kept mainly to themselves.
You must not associate with the neighbor children. Not only are they beneath you, but you will get ideas of leaving Voltrout, your dear mama.
Oh my gosh. Even when Armin started school, Voltraut made sure Armin never made friends.
She's just outside the window with binoculars. She's just... Don't do it. Don't you dare do it.
For our listeners, our audio-only listeners, DJ did this thing where he pointed to himself, like his eyes, like he was...
I did the eyes thing.
He pointed to his eyes and then, like, he was, like, that watching you sign.
Yeah.
Now, when the kids would come ask Voltraut if Armin could come out to play, she would say no, because she would say he always had chores, or if he, like, say he was in trouble. Like, she always had an excuse why Armin couldn't go out and play with the other kids. She did not want Armin associating with the kinder.
9! 9, 9, 9, 9, 9!
Bury that. Now, Armin didn't really mind this because he never really related to the kids in school and often played alone in the schoolyard.
And I just love my mama so much. She shows her affection by backhanding me when I use the pine-scented pine sol rather than the lemon. But I know it's just because she's trying to teach me a lesson. And I love her.
Now, I will say, Armin was a weird kid, okay? As you can imagine, a cannibal, he was a fucked up kid. And also, his mother would make him wear traditional lederhosen to school at a time when this was no longer fashionable. So, like, she might have done that to separate Armin from the other kids and be like, we're better than them, wearing our traditional German clothing and everything.
I can afford these. And he's just like, Aunt Mama, please, it's so cold out. My knees, they are chafing. They are so ashy from the cold. Please, Mama, let me wear the long trousers. 9! Armin, you will wear the lederhosen that Voltraut has bought you, and you will like it till you kiss the hand.
These impressions are giving me life, honestly.
You're welcome. I'm coming up with them off the top of my head.
Now, despite his mother's strict rules and demanding attitude, Armin was quite the mama's boy. He very much enjoyed being told what to do by her. I imagine this was probably because this was probably the only attention he was getting from her. And as a child, you want nothing more than your parents' attention, right? So this was probably like the only attention he was getting from his mother.
And sometimes I make a little oopsie just to get my mama to pay attention to me. When she yells at me, I feel a strange tingly sensation in my lederhosen.
Jesus Christ.
It also makes me very, very happy.
So it's no surprise Armin started feeling very lonely and did what most kids would do in this situation and came up with an imaginary friend and named him Frankie. Cute, right?
And Mama, this is my friend Frankie. He is imaginary, so you can't drive him away. Armin, do not bother me with your imaginary friend. I do not care if he has what his name is, but if you're going to name him something, name him Franz, a good Dutch name.
She probably did get pissed that he didn't have like a proper German name for his imaginary friend. If he told his mother about the imaginary friend, he might not have told her.
Give him a good German noble name. Something in line with a long, noble heritage. Something like Franz Josef Maria Blacker. Yeah. Just add 20 more names to it.
So Armin would lie in bed and tell Frankie all his problems, and imagine Frankie telling him everything would be okay and that he loved Armin.
Oh, Frankie, sometimes I'm just so worried because my only friend is Mama, and sometimes I fake the oopsies just to get her attention, and she beats me, and when she beats me I get a little excited in my lederhosen. Is this normal for other children? Oh, thank you, Frankie, that is very nice to hear.
I'm gonna need you to do that facing like.
Oh,
when you
shit.
do it closer to the microphone. Yeah. Okay. Now, that's cute or whatever, but that's not exactly what he would tell Frankie. Okay, he would confide in Frankie his deepest, darkest secrets. like how he wished he could eat the little boy on the show Flipper so he could be with Armin forever and he could take on some of the boy's better qualities or his powers, if you will. Now, this Flipper wasn't the first time Armin had cannibalistic thoughts. He idolized the witch from Hansel and Gretel,
Oh my god.
which Grimm's Fairy Tales, it's a German fairy tale. And he too wished he could be the witch. He wanted to fatten kids up and eat them like the witch in Hansel and Gretel.
One day, my mama will die, and I will get all of her money and I'm going to use it to build a candy cottage. And I'm going to lure children to my candy cottage. And I'm going to fatten them up, just like in Hansel and Gretel. And then I'm going to stick them in a pot and make a stew.
And it'll be the best German stew. I can't do the German
No,
accent.
you can't. Just leave it to me.
Thank God we got that German expert over here, you know. So when Armin wasn't fantasizing about eating the Kinder or being harassed by Voltraut, he would sneak off to neighboring farms to watch animals being slaughtered, which he recounted as some of his favorite childhood memories.
And when that cow, when they slaughtered it and the blood and guts oozed all over the floor, and I was so happy, I felt like I could explode.
No,
In fact, I did have a little explosion in my little house in that moment.
Seeing its innards made me think.
It is such a shame that I did not have a cream puff at that moment because I had also cream that I needed right there.
No, it is interesting that you say that because as Armin did mature into puberty and everything, which we'll bring up later, these cannibalistic thoughts did kind of coincide with his sexual thoughts. He had very dark sexual thoughts as well, right? Also, I do want to point out that Rotenburg had a lot of farmers, so it was very normal for children to go and like be taught how to like slaughter animals and stuff. And the adults seeing him watching these probably was like, oh yeah, he needs to get used to this because so many people became farmers and butchers and things. So they probably thought it was just preparing him for his future, not like this fucking weird kid's watching
And
this
who is
slaughter.
that kid? And I don't care. He's probably just gonna grow up to be a butcher. Let him watch.
Exactly. Now, moving into his late teens, when Armin was 16, Voltraut would decide to move them to Rotenburg and buy a large estate that had about 36 rooms.
This is very wonderful. I'm finally living the way I deserve. I will not deserve. Do not ask me how I got this house or who owned it beforehand, because none of us is going to like the answer very much, because it may or may not have been confiscated by the Nazis.
Actually, it's very interesting you say that because even though they bought this huge 36 room like estate, Voltraut did not work, right? She got all of her money through alimony and child support, and she used that money to buy the large estate. And if you're asking what she would do in her free time, she was very interested in her family genealogy. So she would like trace back her family roots. Again, kind of, not surprisingly, skipping over World War II. And then she kind of just left that part out.
And did you know that I'm related to the royal house of Hohenzollern? Yeah, my great aunt. Her cousin-in-law was married to the son of the Kaiser.
The Kaiser?
The Kaiser,
I
yes.
love his roles.
I'm practically royalty. I keep writing to the Kaiser in exile in the Netherlands, asking him to recognize me as one of his relatives, but he's so busy being in exile. One of these days he shall write back to me.
Maybe one day. Probably not Voltraut, though. Probably not.
That is my duchess to you.
Girl. So, Voltraut loved the house so much she would give the rooms different names. Like, for instance, she ironically named her bedroom Sunlight.
Oh.
We all know there probably wasn't much sunlight going on in there. It was probably one of the darkest rooms of the home.
I can just imagine her naming it Sunlight and her covering the windows in the thickest, heaviest velvet curtains. And she's painted it probably like a deep, dark, almost black maroon color. And she's probably got that dark painted wood furniture, and like all the fabrics are really dark, and so like light just gets eaten alive in there.
Maybe. Or maybe she named that the sunlight room, ironically, because when you see Voltraut naked in the sunroom, then everything goes dark because you go blind. Yes.
Actually, she's given kind of like Pink and Frilly vibes, honestly.
Well, she did name another room Morning Dew.
Yeah, so I feel like all of these rooms were super pink and fluffy and frilly.
She very much, probably what I imagine she wanted to do but never like did it, was turn it into like a bed and breakfast or something of that nature.
Oh no, she was not going to turn into a bed and breakfast. It was, this is a room where these are the rooms where all my friends, all of Volchot's friends, are going to stay when they come for the weekend house parties that I'm going to throw. She doesn't have any friends though.
No, well,
because
we'll get into
everyone's
that.
beneath her.
She does think everyone is beneath her, but we will get into that. Give me 1 second. Let's keep going. Now, Armin's room would be deemed the age-appropriate Kinderzimmer, or the child's room.
Kinderzimmer!
Now, keep in mind, he is a teenager at this point, but he still loved that his room's name was Child's Room because it added to the whole mama's voice thing. Like, I'm still a mom's child.
Oh, I'm just a little boy in my little house and my mama loves me so much.
Exactly.
Oh, hang on. I hear the butcher van. Excuse me, I have to run to the toilet to fix something.
Jesus. So, Armin spent much of his time at the estate taking care of his pony and dog. He had an Alsatian, which I think is like Alsatian. I looked it up, and it's like a German shepherd.
Yes.
And doing chores around the house, again, staying away from kids his own age. Now, he did have one friend who would occasionally come over and play on the pony with him, and they had like kind of like a Cinderella carriage he would take out sometimes around the town or whatever. But other than that, he didn't have much or any really interaction with the outside.
All right, my friend, thank you for coming. We're going to play Cinderella. I'm going to play Cinderella. You are going to play Cinderella's servant. Oh, Armin, the last 8 times we played Cinderella, I had to play the servant. Well, do you live in a castle? I think not, so I am Cinderella.
And this time, I'm going to eat the servant! Very that. Because remember, he's still fucked up, He's like a cannibal. So, now...
See, I think he's fucked up, but he's not at the point of admitting he's fucked up yet.
Not yet.
It's kind of like you in the closet.
Actually, I won't say that, because at this point, he's having these cannibalistic fantasies still, wanting to eat the boy and Flipper and everything. I think he knows as a teenager. When you're a teenager, you're not like the other kids.
Yeah, but I don't think he's at the point of admitting it out loud.
Oh, no, for sure not. Now, they might have been the town weirdos, but the local townspeople would invite Voltraut and Armin to parties, and surprisingly, they even would attend some. However, Voltraut was, as you can imagine, a stuck-up old bitch, and did not enjoy it. There was one instance where the music was too loud, and she screamed at everyone at the party to turn the music down! Armin, get Voltraut's trough! We are leaving! Like I said, talking in third person. And I wouldn't put it past Voltraut to have her mobile trough. She's just like, she seems like a trough lady. Like she would eat out of the trough.
Oh my god. Oh, Mrs. Frau Meiwes, it's so nice of you to come. And who are you? I'm the hostess. Don't talk to me. I don't know if you know this, but I'm related to the Kaiser. You are beneath me. You are lucky that I have decided to attend your little party.
Oh my gosh. I'm impressed how many German's words you know. You came out here with Frau? You know that means woman. Mm-hmm. I'm actually impressed. Oh, Mrs.
Yeah.
How do you know all this German?
I read a lot.
Okay, I got you. On one instance, one of the neighborhood men felt bad for Armin and convinced Voltraut to let Armin come to the party by himself. probably thinking Voltraut held him back. Surprisingly, Voltraut agreed and let Armin go. But Armin didn't play with the teenage boys his own age or chase after girls. Instead, he sat at the kids' table, hands folded, looking like a fucking weirdo. Kind of like this. Do you guys ever wish the show Flipper was just about the boy? Do you ever wonder how each other tastes? I imagine it kind of went like that.
And I know that sometimes when the rations are low, you like eating the dolphin and pretending like it's tuna. But have you ever thought about eating Sandy, the little boy in Flipper?
It probably was really that. I imagine some of his like cannibalistic fantasies did pop out every so often in little ways like that.
Like, oh, it's so hard because, like, with the Soviet Union, like, occupying the East, sometimes it's very hard to get rations. I don't know where we're going to get our meat. Have you ever considered eating a little boy? Was? Oh, I meant, have you ever thought about eating veal, little cow? Oh, yeah. We love the veal.
Jesus. But there was one other person Armin became interested in. Eula von Burness,
Oh, God.
a self-proclaimed witch and Satanist who moved into the house next door. Now, von Burness was hardcore. She painted her house black. Her doorbell was a skull's head with the tongue sticking out, and she had many pictures of demons and Lucifer in her home. She really took that whole Satanist thing, that whole witch thing, and drove it home, you know?
Yes, this woman, she's going to rock my world.
And she did. Now, von Burness claimed she could cast spells that could kill anyone she wanted. People, mainly pissed off wives who got cheated on, would hire her to get revenge on people or do other spells for them. Armin took to von Burness like a senator to the closet.
Oh my gosh.
She would tell him things like, humans are animals, nature was uncaring, and death was just a part of nature. Von Burness helped awaken a dark curiosity in Armin. He would start to burn Barbies alive and make body parts out of marzipan that he would pretend were real. The one he liked most was the penis-shaped marzipan. Here we have the gay thing coming in, because if you haven't clocked it yet, Armin was gay. Now, this turned into him doing the same things with meat, and he would use ketchup to try and create real-life-looking parts with real blood. It was kind of like a fucked-up Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. You remember that Disney movie?
No.
Well, essentially...
I don't want to.
Okay. Well, if you get that reference, you're a Disney kid like I was.
Armin, mein Liebling, my little faggot. The world is so dark, but it is just a part of life. That was Eula.
That was Eula. I got that.
That was Eula.
But Eula was actually a very interesting character. She would go to like local like saloons and everything, and she gambled a lot. And she would actually say, like when people would ask her if like Satan ever helped her like gamble, she would always say, no, Satan has much better things to do. And actually there was a pretty big lawsuit she was involved in where someone sued her when they hired her for a curse to kill someone, and that person didn't die. So that made headlines for a bit. She was a very interesting character.
Is witchcraft even real? Like, it's just for entertainment purposes, honestly.
Well, no, if it was for entertainment...
I know, but she seems like like sometimes you go to psychics and like they have that disclaimer at the end, like, for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, very that. Now, after Armin graduated high school, or the German equivalent to high school, he would join the army, which he actually excelled in. See, Armin loved to follow orders, and he loved routine, all things that his mother instilled in him.
And my mama taught me how to goose step and do the Higgs style. Signal.
Jesus.
She said one day when the Führer comes back, it's going to be very useful. Oh, we don't do that anymore. Oopsie. It's just like the pine sol and the lemon pledge all over again.
But in true Armin fashion, when the other men in the army would ask him to go out, he would say no, saying he had to go home to mother. See, he made sure he was stationed in the base in Rotenburg so he could still be close to his mother and go home every day and do chores for her and just be there with her.
Sorry, boys, I have to go home and check on my mama. And after, I'm going to polish my long rifle.
Now, you know when he was in the army, he was staring at those men in the showers and things, like, because at this point, he fully knows he's gay and whatnot, right? So,
Oh, Sergeant Blocker, he is so fine. Oh, I just want to do the naughtiest things with him. I want him to bend me over and just plow me like the fertile fields of the farms. And then I want to bend him over, and then I want to bite into his arm like he's such a chicken drumstick. Oh, it would be amazing.
why does Armin keep moaning every time we shower? Now, not only, keep in mind, throughout all of this in the army, not only is he struggling with gay thoughts, he's struggling with cannibalistic thoughts. So, like, it's like this whole, like, storm going on inside of him that he can't tell anyone about.
It is such a problem. I want to suck cock, but at the same time, I want to bite it off. What am I to do? Perhaps I just never give fellatio?
No. Armin was in the army for 12 years and moved up the ranks.
Oh my god.
But once in a leadership role, he found he did not have what it took to be a leader in the army. He lacked the toughness and failed to assert his authority over other people. So, he would be forced to leave the army in 1991, and he would start working at a software company. Now, some people think that he left the army because he was a failure as a leader, he wasn't going to go up. He was asked to leave by the army. Another thing, right before he was asked to leave the army, though, he did get 2 DUIs, like DWIs, in quick succession, so driving while intoxicated. He got 2 of those right before he got kicked out, so it could have... Okay, guys,
Well, that was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, we're gonna go black the rest of the episode. Sorry about that, the logo. Maybe I'll put a fun picture there the rest of the episode. Probably not, but maybe.
Armin's just like, and there are dominants and there are submissives, and I'm just a little more of a submissive. So there's nothing wrong with that, but it isn't really working for the army. The army's like, no, we got rid of you.
Yeah. I think it did have a lot to do with the DUIs too, and they probably saw it as an opportunity to get rid of the weird guy. Because, like I said, he wouldn't go out with anyone. He was such a mama's boy. Like, he was just a weird guy, and he would always have like this weird smile on his mouth, right? And he had a very big mouth and very big teeth, so he was just like always walking around like with this weird smile, kind of like Ed Gein would.
I think it's also a problem where he was like in the barrack showers and he's like, oops, I dropped the soap. Oops, I dropped the soap.
It'd be a shame
I
if...
dropped the soap.
Girl! Stop! Oh my god. Oops, not again. Who wants to...
I was backing up on purpose to be like, oops, maybe if I keep backing
Oh
up,
my-
his penis will just become erect and insert itself inside me.
Oh my gosh. What if we play Dig the Soap Out of Armin's Butthole again?
Oops, Sergeant Blocker, I got the soap stuck in my asshole. Do you think you can get this out again?
Now, Armin really did enjoy his work at the software company, and he did make good money, which he would spend on old cars and other things he would plan on like fixing up, but he never would. So the yard would become littered with old cars and just kind of like how you would picture a hoarder's house. Just things he would say he would fix up and then never did or got around to it.
I'm not hoarding. It's also my hobby. I just got to get around to it.
And they never do. They never do.
I might need this one day.
Yeah, he very much had that hoarder's mentality. But let's switch gears a little bit and touch on Armin's dating life. Now, like I said before, Armin knew he was gay when he was in the army and before that. but chose not to come out and to try and date women. Which, of course, was hard because Voltraut would accompany him on dates and judge any girl he would date. She would literally sit in the back seat of the car wherever Armin went with the girls, and Armin could never see anything wrong with this. He was always like, why would I not bring mother on my dates?
Und Fräulein, we are related to the Kaisers. Are you related to the Kaisers? Nein, I thought not. Armin, take me home. Leave the bill for the poor peasant.
It was very that, though. She thought she was better than them, and she would say, oh, like, this girl didn't speak eloquently enough, or, oh, she's a mess, or she doesn't have a good family. It was all very that.
Oh, she grew up in the city? Huh. We have the country estate. She will never fit in.
Eventually, Armin would find a woman to date who was a single mom, and things went well until she let Armin know she didn't want to have kids anymore, and Armin wanted to have kids. I guess he figured if he was going to be a woman, he might as well be a father, like be with a girl. Might as well be a father.
I must continue the bloodline.
Exactly. And the only other woman he really dated didn't work out because she refused to move into Armin's house.
Why won't you move in here? It's great. My mother has the master bedroom. I have also my cars that I'm going to fix up on the lawn. Why would you not want to move in here? It's absolutely great. We can still reside in the kinder room.
Do you want to touch my pickle in the kinder room? Do you want to touch my sausage in the kinder room?
No, if you're going to move in, there's just one thing you're going to need. You're going to have to wear the strap on, and you're going to have to plow my fertile fields.
Yes, and your name is Hans now. No.
How do you feel about shaving your head and growing a mustache?
Now, I will also note that both of these relationships were very short, both lasting 2 weeks to a month. So very short relationships, if you can even consider them that. Now, unfortunately for the trough industry, Voltraut would die in 1999, leaving Armin alone in the large house.
Armin, I cannot believe it. It's nearly 2 millennia. I has never taken my proper place in the great German society. And the fear has not come back for me.
Period. Okay.
I'm not saying she was a Nazi. I'm just saying it would be funny if she was.
I wouldn't put it past her to secretly be a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, she's just giving that vibe of I hunger for a greater Germany.
Very that. Making Armin wear the lederhose. She was very nationalistic.
Yes, it's very she has a lot of these hallmark tenets that the Nazi party had.
Very that. Now, much like Ed Gein, Armin left his mother's things how they were when she died, right? He was really sad, actually, because like I said, he's a mama's boy.
I don't doubt
he left things exactly how she left things when she died, right? And he would actually dress up in her clothes and do chores around the house and everything. And one time someone came over unexpectedly and actually caught him dressed up like his mother and promptly left after that.
Oh, this is not what it looks like. I just wear them because they smell like her.
Exactly. I mean, he would even fold his mother's clothes and leave them on the bed. She would come in with was about to walk in and dress in them and everything.
Oh, so he would lay out a fresh outfit for her every day.
Not every day. It didn't say every day, but he would leave clothes out for her.
There's just something about Queen Victoria, when her husband died, she would do that where every day she had a team of servants who would go into his bedroom and they would lay out a fresh change of clothes and hot water to shave in. And then at nighttime, the clothes would be put away and a nightdress nightshirt would be put out for him.
I get that in the morning aspect, but I don't know how healthy that is. Because you're definitely not moving on at that point.
Oh, she didn't.
Yeah, that's not healthy. And neither was Armin was doing, like dressing up in his mother's clothes. Like I said, it's very much, if I didn't say it yet, it's very much like what Ed Gein was doing, how he would dress in
Yes.
his mother's
I'm
clothes
seeing
after
a
she
lot
died.
of similarities between
Oh, yeah.
Ed Gein and this.
Story, yeah. And I will also point out, Ed Gein was not a cannibal. He did awful things, but he wasn't a cannibal like Armin. There are similarities, but Ed Gein was not a cannibal. Now, unsurprisingly, some of the neighbors would get worried about Armin and occasionally invite him over to be like, hey, if you want to talk about your mom's death or whatever, like, you want to come over and we can, like, talk about things.
Yeah.
But Armin would never go. He declined their attempts. Instead, he would confine himself to the house, where he would do deep, deep research on cannibalism.
Oh.
Everything from cannibalistic tribes to a rugby team that resorted to cannibalism after their plane crashed, and even Jeffrey Dahmer. He devoured as much cannibalistic information as he could find.
I like what you did there.
Thank you, I did my best. And this is when he developed his own philosophy around cannibalism. See, Armin believed that women should not be cannibalized or killed for their meat because they could have babies and carry on the human race, which was important. Men, however, were not needed and were nothing more than livestock that could be slaughtered.
Those dirty, dirty livestock. With so big, veiny, raging cocks.
The hoon, if you will.
Yeah.
The hooner.
The
But-
Venus.
That being said, though, Armin did believe that the slaughter should be consensual. If anyone were to be slaughtered for cannibalism, the men he wanted the cannibalism to be consensual. He wanted, like, the men to want it. That was part of the thrill for him, really, was the man wanting to be eaten by Armin and becoming a part of Armin. Because a deep-rooted thing in this is, like, I think a fear of abandonment, because part of his cannibalistic thought is if I eat this person, I will become kind of like one with them and take on some of their better qualities and they'll never leave me.
He never learned about the digestive system.
No, probably not. Well, or maybe a little too much after eating all that fucking marzipan and shit. Girl, you might have learned a little too much about.
Apparently it didn't stick because, like, they're not staying with you either. You're going to shut them out one day.
Bury it. Well, it might have been more of a spiritual thing, you know.
And I'm going to consume the spirit as it oozes out of every capillary and soaks in through the lining of my stomach into my bloodstream until I am just flush with the power and soul.
It was very that, though. That's exactly what he wanted. Like, jokes aside, that's exactly what he wanted. Now, Armin eventually got a computer and found the internet that had cannibalism information galore.
And I don't know why America did not elect this Al Gore. He is amazing. He invented the interweb so that I can find other people who are cannibals and even people who want to be cannibalized. And thanks, Al Gore.
See, exactly. It was very that because he did find community. I mean, he also found a ton of, like, graphic BDSM image he would download and, like, sex videos. He would download a lot of, like, graphic sex content along with, of course, like, crime scene videos, autopsy stuff. He would download it all on his computer, right? But like I said, he would find community. He would go into different chat rooms like Cannibal Cafe among many other. That was the name of the website.
I know it is.
No, there were a lot of, like, websites like that, but his favorite was Cannibal Cafe, and he would go in there and he found community. And on Cannibal Cafe, they would, like, exchange fantasies. They would exchange made-up recipes for human meat and just, like, do different role plays and all sorts of things like that.
Now, human is very like pig, which is why it's called long pig, which is why we recommend replicating this pork tenderloin recipe, but for tenderloin of long pig.
It's exactly that, though. They would discuss like best ways for like cooking human meat, recipes, things like that. It was kind of like, I don't know, like Martha Stewart-esque type thing.
Now, okay, I have no desire to eat another person whatsoever, but like, I don't particularly like pork, so I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nah, no thanks. I'm good. I don't need it.
Yeah, no. Human meat probably.
Now,
People say it's harsh.
I hear it's hard. I hear it's a lot like pork, and I hear it's a very harsh, salty taste.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, I'll pass.
Yeah, I'll pass too. Now it is on Cannibal Cafe that Armin would meet Bernd. But before we get to that, let me tell you a bit about Bernd's upbringing. Bernd's upbringing was much different than Armin's. He was born to two medical professionals. His father was a general practitioner, and his mother was an anesthesiologist.
Und both my parents are doctors.
Yes, exactly. Bernd was set up for success, right? Like, he had two good parents, made good money, like, he had the world at his feet. But in 1963, when Bernd's mother accidentally made a mistake at work and killed someone, she spiraled into a depression. Now, this depression caused his mother to drive into a tree. While not confirmed this was suicide,
It's not great.
It's heavily speculated that this
That's
depression led her to drive the car into the tree and commit suicide. Again, not confirmed, but it is heavily speculated that this was suicide. Now, Bernd's father never fully explained what happened to his mother or where she had gone when Bernd was a kid. So Bernd took the blame on himself and always thought it was his fault that his mother had gone. Not understanding death at a young age and his distant father never explaining things to him, the thoughts just spiraled into his head. As Bernd grew older, the thought that his mother's death was his fault and he had to atone for the loss of his mother through endless suffering and his eventual annihilation ran through his head. He would even have dreams about being slaughtered and eaten. Being completely being completely annihilated was one of his fantasies. That's what he thought he had to do because he thought like his mother's death was his own fault and he had to atone for this and he wanted to be completely wiped off the face of the earth. Now, despite this inner turmoil, Bernd was a great student and went to university to be an engineer. He quickly found a job at Germany's largest engineering company and after just 4 years was promoted to head of his department. His colleagues always liked Bernd and saw him as sociable and respectable, and they respected him as a leader. No one had any idea that he was struggling with anything, let alone these dark thoughts. Bernd dated a woman named Ariane, and things were great at first, and they even moved in together. But eventually, they grew apart. They tried counseling, but Bernd would not talk about his feelings, and the two would split. Then Bernd would meet Petra, but this relationship didn't last long as Bernd came out as bisexual, and she did not like that. Homophobia. Yes. After this, Bernd tried online dating and met a girl he decided he wanted to date. So he paid 6,000 marks to bring her from Nigeria.
Oh my god.
But
No.
But when the day came and he got to the airport, he realized he was being scammed, as another man was standing there, also waiting for his Nigerian girlfriend. He fell for the classic Nigerian princess, like that classic internet scheme. Oh, you have to send me this money so I can escape and
Please,
be with
my
you.
friend, send me $2,000 in Amazon gift card so I can reclaim my throne.
Now, I will give Bernd a little credit because this was the early days of the internet and they didn't fucking know. They thought everything they read on the internet was tea and he thought it was a real girl. They didn't know. They didn't know about the internet. This was the dark days of the internet where they had places like Cannibal Cafe where you could talk about wild shit and not get in trouble. After all this, Bernd decided it was time to try some cock and met Renee, who would become his long-term partner. They would move in together and had a happy domestic life.
Oh.
However, I will note Bernd never came out to his colleagues and always referred to Renee as his roommate.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, this is like late 90s. Like, it might even be like 2000, 2001, because we'll get there, but Armin and Brand would meet in 2001. So if you think for the time period, homophobia was still a very real thing, so it was what it was.
So what you're saying is they met and then 9/11 happened. If they didn't meet, 9/11 wouldn't have happened.
Bernd and Armin caused 9/11 with their cannibalism. Well, Armin's cannibalism. Now, surprisingly enough, Renee had no idea Bernd was struggling with these dark, dark thoughts of his own annihilation. Like, not even in their sex life did it ever come up, right?
Slaughter me! Oh!
So full of inner turmoil and deviant thoughts, Bernd needed an outlet to let it all out. So he turned to sex workers.
Slaughter me! Oh!
He would secretly pick up male sex workers at the Bahnhof Zoo.
Oh, no.
Lions and tigers and twinks, oh my. And he did this quite frequently, sometimes as much as 3 times a day.
Jesus,
He
that
was
man
a
was a jizz machine.
Right, he was a horny, horny dude. Now, Bernd had a few sex workers who became his favorite, and his requests from them started to get more and more violent and dark. He requested that one worker named Emmanuel with him until he bled. Then he wanted Emmanuel to pretend to be a hungry cannibal and bite off his penis.
Oh.
Bernd even started bringing a knife to their rendezvous, and they would roleplay him castrating Bernd.
Oh, no.
This caused Emmanuel to distance himself, not surprisingly.
No thanks. I really don't want to take your money, which is saying something because I have sex for a living and I don't want your money.
Hey, even sex workers have limits too, and they're allowed to
Yes.
have those limits. Now, another prostitute, Bernd, requested the same thing, asking him to actually bite off his penis, and offered the sex worker 10,000 marks to do so. He even at one point threw in his car and computer when the sex worker refused.
Oh my god.
Now, after this incident, the prostitute would again cut ties to Bernd. Like, again, sex workers have their limits as well.
His little, he probably has like one of those gold Camrys, like, like the old person gold.
Yes.
He probably has like it's a Buick. He drives a Buick. I just know it. He drives one of the like geriatric gold Buick.
Geriatric gold.
And it's just coming down the street and all these hookers are like, pass, and they're like going to hide in bushes.
Oh my god. Well, after this, word probably spread around the prostitute community that this guy's a freak and not to go home with him. Mm-hmm. Because if he has these dark fantasies, he could get dangerous super quick,
Yeah, what's going to stop him from going, I want you to castrate me into, I'm going to castrate you.
Exactly. So I could probably imagine the other sex workers got word of this and avoided Bernd after this. So, with the sex workers not working out and needing an outlet for his annihilation fantasies, he turned to the internet and began frequenting cannibal chat rooms under the pseudonym Kator.
Oh.
And it was in February of 2001 that he came across an ad from someone named Frankie, requesting people for slaughter, specifically looking for a young, well-built man ready to be eaten. And of course, Frankie was Armin's pseudonym, and Bernd quickly responded to the ad, offering himself to Armin, confessing he wanted to be eaten since he was a child. The two bonded over their cannibalistic feelings that started as children, and they started sharing pictures of each other. you know, because they were talking about like meeting up and everything.
This is my cock, which I want you to cut off.
Exactly. You joke, but that's exactly what they were saying to each other.
Oh, I'm not joking.
Like, they were exchanging their cannibalistic fantasies, and they were both very serious. Armin would even send Bernd pictures of his teeth so he could see what would be eating him. They were exchanging very, very dark things on an unmonitored internet, and they would eventually decide to meet up. And it is next week that we will discuss the meeting of Armin and Bernd in the ensuing act that would make Armin Meiwes the Cannibal of Rotenburg in our goriest, bloodiest episode yet. So, we got our yucks out this episode. We got the Girl. So, we got the laughs out this episode, because next episode, it's getting dark, bloody, gory, controversial. It's going to be all the things that a dark comedy podcast will have.
Slaughter me, yeah.
I just know next week you're going to have a tough time with. I don't know if you're going to make it through the episode, because
Do you remember when you first brought up covering this and you were like, my goal is to make you like throw up on the air?
Oh, did I say that?
You said that. And I was talking to my dad last night and I was like, yeah, Paul said this to me, and he's like, was he for real? And I said, yes, Paul's very real. And he's like, well, are you gonna? And I'm like, my mama didn't raise no quitters. And they were divorced, so he's like, what about your father?
Well, we'll see how that goes next week, because next week we're getting nitty and gritty with well, I can't even tell you what we're getting nitty and gritty with.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spoil it. So do you have any thoughts so far?
No.
My one takeaway from this, and we said it earlier, is how similar he is to Ed Gein.
Yes.
From being a mama's boy to like mourning her death and having these dark inner thoughts. Even like if you look at Ed Gein, like he didn't start killing until his mother was gone, right?
Yeah, and also this idea of keeping people around when his father and both of his brothers left him, and then his mother died, and he never. That's his whole like life there. Like he didn't have any other friends, so it's just like I can see him like trying to find a way of like I need them to stay like a way to find to keep them with me.
Exactly. And you can see like how quickly this escalated after his mother died. If you think about it, Armin didn't do anything crazy until like his mother died. His mother died in 1999, and then in 2001 he met Bernd, and he was born in 1961. So that's like the first 30-something years of his life. He never acted on anything, but as soon as his mother's dead, he's on the internet and he's finding willing participants, and he's actually like partaking in his deepest, darkest fantasies. I just think it's so crazy how quickly after his mother died it escalated to that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when you think about it, and so many interesting thoughts. But let us know your thoughts on this, about Armin, about Bernd. Let us know your thoughts down below. If you have any comments, if you're ready for next week, if you think you're going to make it through next week's episode. Do you want to take it away with our socials?
You're doing a pretty good job.
I don't know our socials, so follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
They're all listed below.
They are
This
all
is why
listed
I do
below.
Yes, as Paul already said, please connect with us. Like, subscribe, follow wherever you are listening. Leave a comment, send us a DM at any of our socials below. Please be sure to follow us where you can get all the latest news that are going on. We do have lots of great ideas coming up for this year, events and such. So that's where you're going to find out about it. If you have personal stories, you can email us. Our email is also listed below. Paul, where can they find you?
On Sundays, you can find me at Twinks and Drinks live on TikTok. Usual time is 7, yeah?
Usual time is 7.
Okay, 7 o'clock. And TikTok live. Be there, be square. You can follow me on my personal socials at Paul Ember, Paulember, and that is TikTok and Instagram. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's Bernd.
And if you'd like to follow me, you can do so at The Real Deej Powers on TikTok and on Instagram. And as always, guys, until next time, keep your crypts tight.
And your corks loose. Bye!
It's a bleach and tone, bitch. What's so hard about it?